got
Yeah.
people in the factories manning them robots, with the majority of the parts just robotic arms, computers all doing it.
I've heard this idea, right? Of almost like it's like a tax, right?
Yep.
So if a company like Honda
Yeah.
want to put in their factory, a robot.
Mhm.
Um, Ex Machina is amazing, by the way, literally amazing. Um, we could talk more about that kind of AI in a minute, actually. But yeah, so if a company says, I wanna get this robot to replace these 10 workers, the idea that's been thrown around is that they pay, X amount of tax, and then for this robot, almost as though they're being paid wages, and then that tax goes into sort of contribute to almost like a welfare payment to those workers,
Oh wow. Yeah.
a it's like a contribution to the general sort of well-being of like a contribution to some sort of social scheme where they can you know repay these
Okay.
workers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, or even sort of just literally just you could just do a full exchange. So if they want a worker, so if a worker's working right for like 22 grand a year in a factory, right,
Yep.
or whatever it is in a
Yeah.
year,
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
they've been paid X amount a year to work like 9 hours a day, to work like 6 days a week, or and then they're just doing that over and over, right? And then the robot comes in, and that robot is good for X amount of years, and they can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mhm.
Now, there could be some sort of like contract laid out where the employer is like, okay, I'm replacing you, but it's just cheaper for me in the long run. So, like, obviously, this would have to be something imposed by, a regulatory board,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
companies, big companies, don't care about the little workers. They don't care
Yeah. Of
about,
course not.
they don't care about the bottom of the chain. So, if it was possible, they would literally just get in. They would get the most efficient number of robots in there in the factory, get rid of all the workers, no payments, no nothing, sorted. But if this idea was in place where there was some sort of like tax, they could even like pay the original worker who was put out of the job their normal wages or percentage of their normal wages,
Yeah.
and they're still making money over what they would have if they kept the worker, because that robot's working
Twice as.
far longer and
Yeah.
far more efficient
Steamy.
than the
Yeah.
worker would have done. Because if you sort of just let these companies bring in robots and just straight up replace them, just straight up replace these people, it's gonna cause a massive shift in the economy. And just like a it's like a gonna cause a massive socio-economic shift. Like, you think about it, it's what's gonna happen if suddenly, like, all these people who were getting a steady income for a family now don't have any income, now can't pay tax, and then there's no sort of tax money to be put into a welfare budget. Like, it's like this whole thing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you, and I think that's actually whoever came up with that is actually the genius, because that makes so much sense. Like that tax idea, is actually a really cool
Yeah.
idea.
But obviously, don't that's it's just an idea. Nothing's been put in place, but it should,
Yeah, that should
right?
100% be. That's obviously there's probably flaws that we haven't discussed, but that from the basis of what you've said, like, that sounds amazing. It just makes so
Yeah,
much
like,
sense, like for everyone
yeah,
involved.
exactly. Because you can't, like, even even the big companies would have to admit that the shift it would cause within the economy would also be devastating to them.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
then you've got no people working,
Yep.
and then you're losing sales for whatever product you want. Like, it's just like this
It's
whole.
a whole. It all links together. So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
just makes a lot of sense for that to be implemented. Obviously, that's something that each country has to discuss within the governments and implement to big companies. But